What's up, everybody? This is Sami Osmani, Creighton University basketball. I don't know if it's necessarily a piece of advice, but it's setting an example, and I would say that's a testament to my high school coach, who's been my coach from middle school to my senior year of high school, and then also my older brother there in the back. Those core values of just like grit and toughness have, I think, got me to where I am today. That's the kind of style Chicago basketball rides on, and I think I really take pride in being the toughest guy and out muscling people and diving on the ball. And, that toughness is really, really important to me. And then, of course, the skill playing for Creighton University. You got to know the X's and O's, one of the most high level basketball offensive systems, as well as defense. So just pairing those two together was the ideal fit for me. Yeah, since I got to Creighton, I've really focused on my footwork, especially like running off screens and shooting threes. Depending on where you're at on the court, you got to square up and make sure you get on balance to knock down that shot. So, luckily have a great coaching staff with, McDermott and Doug McDermott and Kyle Korver and all those awesome three-point shooters that have been part of the program in the past. And then, of course, Coach McDermott, who knows a thing or two about threes, as well as the other coaching staff. Just learning from them and how to shoot threes. And, people think it's just as simple as, getting the shot up, but it's all about balance, rhythm shooting, finding the right spots on the court for yourself. And then in terms of how I prepare, I mentioned that I'm kind of 6'4", bigger guard. I loved taking pride in out toughing people. So I like my bully ball, getting footwork in the paint. I really watched Jalen Brunson and 2018 team from Villanova with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, DiVincenzo. I really like playing like that. And then, when you pair that with three-point shooting and spacing the floor, I think it's a recipe for success. My senior year is when COVID began, and I actually didn't have a Division I offer till late. In March, Creighton reached out to me. We were in contact throughout the year, but never really officially, said, hey, come play for us. So I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. Academics in basketball, I would say, are always, are 1A, 1B. I don't know which one's 1A, 1B necessarily, but they've always been my main priorities. So I was actually considering just going to school academically at University of Illinois or somewhere closer and just pursuing my academic career. But then they reached out to me. They said, hey, you could, play for the team and stuff. I didn't even know where Creighton University was, to be quite honest. I didn't know it was in Omaha, Nebraska. But, I saw that they were in the Big East. And, of course, like I said, the Kyle Korvers, the Doug McDermotts, and their success the past year really, motivated me to play at the highest level I can. And I took that offer without hesitation. This might be a little cliche, but I feel like, sports, culture and sports are intertwined together. If you want to be a successful program, that culture needs to stay, consistent. And then having guys like me who are 50 years and Ryan Kalkbrenners of the world who know how Coach Mack envisions success. It's really important to set an example and be a vocal leader on and off the court. Make sure the younger guys understand what the expectations are and the standards. And I feel like I've taken great pride in that, especially the last 2 years. And I take great pride in my, I would say I'm the team captain of the scout team, which some people might think like, oh wow, you're not really playing on the court, whatever. But I take real pride in that because one, I've developed so much through playing the scout team, playing the best players on the opposing teams. And then, coaching up the younger guys as well, being that, mentor and telling them all the little nuances of the game and how, the opposing team plays. I take really great pride in that, and it's something, is not an easy task. 2022, we made it to the Elite Eight. We beat Baylor in the Sweet 16 and advanced. We beat Princeton in the Sweet 16 and advanced to play San Diego State. It was really exciting. It was quite the moment. It felt surreal, growing up as a little kid. You always watch March Madness on CBS and whatnot, and just like, man, what if I'm there one day? And it actually happened. It was such a surreal moment, and just that team, like I said, the culture, the expectations Mac had for us. That team fits so well together. The synergy on that team was amazing. We ended up having, Trey Alexander, who plays for the Nuggets now, and Baylor Shireman, who plays for the Celtics, were a part of that team. Ryan Nembhard, who plays for Gonzaga right now, who is probably going to be an All-American. And then Arthur Kaluma at Texas, and then of course Ryan Kalkbrenner, who is going to be an All-American this year as well, three-time Defensive Player of the Year at Big East. Sorry, so it was just such a special team, and I really felt like I took a huge leap in my personal development on the court, personal growth, and development on the court that year just by playing those guys and getting beat up by those guys, but also, giving them a hard time as well. So it was really, really exciting. Scout team. So usually, the way I think most teams run it in college basketball is that you have the rotation guys, which is usually like 1 through 7, 7 guys who are going to play the majority of the minutes throughout the game. And then kind of the guys at the end of the bench take on the scout team roles, which is preparing the actions and the defensive schemes that the opposing team is going to run against us. So, that's goes, you have to memorize 20 plays, for example, if that's a high-level offensive team. Like the other day, we played Nebraska. They had like 18, 19 plays that we had to remember and, act out on the court to prepare our rotation guys. So that's kind of the things that we do. It is a pretty tall task, like I said, but it's really fun and it gets you better. Yeah. So we watch film of the team, the opposing team, right? And then we have to go 30 minutes before practice, 45 minutes before practice, and run through the opposing team's plays to prepare for the actual practice where we run them against the team. We scrimmage as if we are the opposing team against the rotation guys, and it's really fun, especially when you have like a role like a Colin Gillespie, which is always one of my favorites to run, just because he shoots so many threes. So I had the green light that day and running off screens, and yeah. And I feel like that's really developed my game as well, because sometimes I have to go crash. Sometimes my personnel is go crash the glass, rebound, play super hard, rake in the gap, try to get steals. Sometimes it's just like, okay, he's a softer defender, so give him. He plays a little bit softer, shoots a lot more threes, step back threes, or sometimes it's bully ball in the paint. Sometimes it's just pass first, can't shoot the ball. So, practicing those different kind of players has really developed my game and, really gave me a holistic view of how, basketball works, how basketball should be played. And then I get to pick and choose what I want in my own bag, right? So like, okay, I'm playing, for example, a player on St. John's and this guy's super aggressive defensively. I'm like, okay, I'm watching his film throughout the week and I'm like, okay, now I see how he's getting those steals. Now I see how he's going, fighting over the screen, winning the point of attack. Or then you got a team like, Baylor, who's really good at, their guards are really good at isolation. I'm like, okay, now I see how he gets in his step back, his rhythm, how he, plays throughout the game, how he takes, sometimes you got to take a little break on the game, goes in the corner, how you space. There's so many different things that you learn through scout team and through watching other great players. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in college basketball. It's not just the guys that you see on the court with the lights on. There's a lot of muddy stuff that goes on in practice. One of my favorite stories is I was a St. John's scout. We was a scout team for St. John's 3 years ago, and you had the bench players play against the starters, and Coach Matt got so angry. We scored like 3 times in a row. He got so angry at the starters that he threw everybody out of practice. And for us, it was exciting because we were just like, okay, we're really killing these guys right now, and we're really preparing them. We're getting better. So for the next practice, those guys were ready to go, and it was a little bit more of a battle the next day. The atmosphere is always great at Creighton games. Our fan base travels really well, whether that's in Maui, whether that's in Vegas, whether that's an away game. It's always a great time to play in front of those guys, in front of the crowd, in front of the fans. They always bring it, and we're really appreciative of that. And then at home games are especially, awesome because we fill it up with 17,000. We're like top 5 in attendance every year in terms of college basketball schools in attendance. So it's really special to play in front of our awesome fans. It's exciting to be in, Las Vegas and playing basketball in front of your friends and family, in front of the fans, and then seeing all the other teams here. But honestly, if I was a freshman, I'd probably get more excited, be like, oh wow, that's Houston right there, that's Alabama. But now it's just like I kind of live by don't be too high, don't be too low, don't be too excited about stuff. Just it's gonna happen. Stay disciplined, stay stoic, and I really live by that. So just like, yeah, we're in Vegas, it's exciting, but like we have a job to do, and we're here because we want to win games. So that's the most important thing. I think this is the first NIL basketball tournament there's ever been. I think the most important thing is focusing on yourself. You could look at it like, okay, I want to play at this school, I want to play at that school. The extrinsic rewards of basketball will come. You got to focus on yourself. You got to focus on what you do best and what your weaknesses are, and everything else will fall in place. So developing yourself and really focusing on your personal development, your athleticism, your conditioning, your shooting ability, taking your daily vitamins, whether it means form shooting, ball handling, all those little things will get you where you want to go. But if you are constantly worrying about, okay, how am I going to get there? I want to do this. This guy is getting an offer here. I'm not getting an offer. That's comparison is the thief of joy. So just focus on yourself. Watch a lot of film. Stay motivated. But more importantly than staying motivated, stay disciplined. Because sometimes you might not have any motivation. You might not feel like getting in the gym that day. But as long as your mental is, look, I got to get in here regardless if I want to or not. If I'm feeling sick, if I'm happy, if something's happening outside of the world that I can't really control, you get on the court and zone out, zone in into basketball, and that's the best piece of advice.